Rebecca.
Chapter 4. The housekeeper. As Maxim had promised when he proposed to me, we arrived at Manderley with the birds and flowers of spring. I welcomed such beautiful weather as a sign of future happiness after the rains of London. It had been almost 2 months since I got happily married. I had dreamt excitedly of my arrival as Mrs. De Winter for so many times. However, when I stood in front of the 2 imposing iron gates, all the confidence I had recently gained vanished. It was easy for Maxim to be happy. He was coming back home. I, on the other hand, was going into the new and the unknown, and it terrified me. I left like a little girl on her first day of school. The heavy iron doors were open for us. I saw 2 heads in the little room by the gate. I couldn't bear the insisting looks on me, so I tried to hide from the curious stare by sliding down in the car seat. You should get used to the people's interest in you, Maxim warned me. Everyone will try to see what you're like. They have been talking about nothing else ever since they heard the news of our marriage, you know. I wondered how they imagined I would be like. Be yourself, Maxim added, as thought to answer my thoughts. They will love you for it. And don't worry about the house. Mrs. Danvers, the housekeeper, is used to taking care of everything. You will learn in time. We drove for a while, at times in open spaces and at others under joined trees that hid the daylight. Manderley finally appeared by surprise at a curve of the driveway. When we stopped at the foot of the wide stone steps, I saw a group of people lining up at the entrance of a great hall. Who are they? They are our servants. It must be Mrs. Danvers' idea of greeting us. I was again shy and afraid. Maxim was aware of it. Don't say anything. I'll do the introductions. A fairly old man came forward. This is Frith, said Maxim, introducing the head servant. We are all very happy to see you at Manderley again, sir. I hope you and madam are feeling well. Thank you, Frith. And this is Robert, continued Maxim. And this is Mrs. Danvers. A tall, thin woman all dressed in black walked to us, her hard white face showing no emotion. When I took her hand, it felt cold and lifeless. She said a few words, a formal, cold speech of welcome, her big eyes looking darkly into mine. I tried to say something in return, but I only managed to drop my gloves in my confusion. She handed them to me, her lips upturned in a kind of smile. We followed Frith to the library where a noisy welcome was awaiting Maxim from Jasper, who ran barking happily at his master before settling at my feet. Robert came and served us tea. Mrs. Danvers would like to know when she could show Mrs. De Winter her room. Has the work been completed in the East Wing? Asked Maxim. It has, sir. I think you will like it. What work? I asked. Only redecorating and changing the furniture in our rooms, in the East Wing. It's the most cheerful part of Manderley where I am sure we will be much more comfortable. Go and make friends with Mrs. Danvers. I'll you as soon as I finish reading these letters. I saw Mrs. Danvers waiting for me at the top of the stairs. I followed her through empty corridors where the sound of my shoes bounced back noisily. She finally stopped to let me pass through a half-open door. It was a large twin bedroom with wide windows. I walked straight to the windows. The rose garden stretched below, bordered by green grass that reached far to the woods. We can't see the sea from here, can we? I asked Mrs. Danvers. No, you can't even hear it. You would never realize from this part of the house that the sea is so close. I didn't know what to answer her. Mr. De Winter gave very clear orders in his letters to have it specially arranged for his arrival. It used to be the guest's wing. So, this wasn't his bedroom. No, madam. With the late Mrs. De Winter, Mr. De Winter used the west wing. Their rooms overlooked the sea. She said it in a way that made me feel that something important was missing in the East Wing and that there was something wrong with our new bedroom. I could clearly read in her unkind eyes the hostility she had in reserve for me. But it's a beautiful room, I protested. I am sure we will enjoy being here. Her presence oppressed my heart. Why didn't she leave me alone in my room? Why was she still there, watching me, like a black shadow? I suppose you have been at Manderley longer than all the others, I said, to break the silence. No. Frith was here when Mr. De Winter was still boy. When did you come to Manderley? I arrived here with the first Mrs. De Winter when she was a bride. She said this in a different tone of voice, alive all of a sudden. There was colour on her white face. Her features were animated with the desire to disclose her hidden feelings. Mrs. Danvers, I heard myself say, I hope we shall be friends and come to appreciate each other. You must have patience with me, you know, because all this is new to me. But I want to learn quickly, and most of all, I want to make Mr. De Winter happy. Be assured that I will not interfere with your own ways. Very well. I hope everything will be done to your satisfaction. The house has been left in my care alone for more than a year now, and Mr. De Winter had no complaints. But of course, it was different with the first Mrs. De Winter, who liked to give the orders herself. There were parties and a lot of visitors. She had spoken slowly to watch the impact of her carefully chosen words on me, while her eyes said, "You are no great lady." To my great relief, Maxim appeared at the door. "If you find anything not to your liking, you will let me know, won't you?" She said in her apparently friendly way, before leaving. "Isn't this room quiet and peaceful? I just love the rose garden," Maxim said excitedly, looking out of the window. I told him that Mrs. Danvers disliked me. He looked at me, surprised. "Dislike you? Why? She is a strange woman, that's all. Perhaps she would rather look after a man alone. Perhaps she's afraid I'd make things difficult for her." He kissed me on the head. Let's not talk about Mrs. Danvers. She is just an old woman with stiff manners. She doesn't interest me at all. "Come, let me show you the rest of Manderley," he said, putting his arms protectively around my shoulders. Yes, why should I be afraid of anything, I convinced myself that first night. We were sitting in the library, he, smoking his pipe after dinner, and I, looking at him to learn his habits, while stroking the dog at my feet. Maxim was the master of Manderley, and I was his lady. But somehow, it was hard for me to believe it. Suddenly, I realized that someone else had been doing the same things before and that I was sitting at Rebecca's chair. I felt shivers running down my back.